On that one.
So I think our sound and everything is probably on right now
Okay.
for this side of the table.
Yes.
Countdown.
Well, 11. Eight's there.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started today. So I would now like to call to order the May 5th, 2021 meeting of the State Board of Education. Roll call, please.
Ms. DeLosa.
Present.
Mr. Durham.
Present.
Dr. Ernest.
Present.
Dr. Freitas.
Present.
Mr. Gastineau.
Present.
Mr. Mapes.
Here.
Mr. Miller. Ms. Moat.
Here.
Ms. Rentschler.
Here.
Mr. Watts.
Here. Chad. And.
Mr. Miller. Dr. Jenner.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the April 14th, 2021 meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So, quick statement from me. We have a lot of educators on our State Board of Education, two of which serve in our Indiana classrooms every day. And it is Teacher Appreciation Week, and they are trying to avoid eye contact with me right now because they know I'm going to call them out. They happen to both be sitting beside each other, so if cameras could zoom right in over to that corner. We want to recognize Greg Gastineau. Greg teaches ACP government at Hamilton Southeastern High School. I've been in Greg's classroom. I feel like I want to re-enroll just to go back in and experience Greg's teaching. But happy Appreciation Week. Happy Teacher Appreciation Week, Greg. And then Kristen Rentschler, social studies teacher at Columbia City High School. It's kind of incredible. Kristen has won several national awards as a social studies teacher, and we're just so proud to have both of them serving the state of Indiana in the capacity that they do as teachers on our State Board of Education. So I'll pause and just if you want to say anything, no pressure.
I would just like to say that this year has been incredibly difficult as an educator, and I'm super proud of teachers all across Indiana for making it work, whether we're doing Zoom lessons every day, whether we're teaching in the classroom, whether we're doing both. We've been through an incredible run this year, but I think across the state we've made it work. So I'm really proud to be a teacher from Indiana, and I would say that this week we deserve a little appreciation, so thank you.
Well, you get all the appreciation. Greg, I think you maybe have something as well?
Yeah, sure. I would just, implore my fellow Hoosiers, if you get a second, just send your teachers a quick email of appreciation, right? It's to echo off what Kristen said, it's 28 years in the classroom. This has been quite a year, right? I like to tease my students. I have a face made for radio, not for Zoom. And I try my best, right, with all the technology. Like today, I had to pre-record a Zoom lesson, right, all excited, and I start getting emails at 7:30. It's not working, right? And so we fixed it. But, teaching's sort of under attack across the country, right? And I just think any positivity you can send, just a quick email, that'll mean the world to especially some of the younger teachers, right? Who are really, I mean, they signed up to change the world. Teaching's my calling, it's my passion, I absolutely love it. And we've got some phenomenal teachers in the state, but a little bit of love goes a long way, so thank you.
Greg and Kristen. We also want to give a huge thank you to our Indiana General Assembly for their continued commitment, but especially this session, we saw incredible increases in K-12. Over 2021 numbers, we're seeing about $1.9 billion increase over 2021 numbers, and just really appreciate their work. I know that every session is twists and turns, ups and downs. We totally experienced that this session as well, but we really appreciate where they landed on behalf of Indiana schools. Also want to quickly share one of the bills that passed, the House, now called the House Enrolled Act 1008, which allocates $150 million to support accelerated learning plans with a focus on partnerships between community organizations and schools. That grant is open. It's a pretty quick turnaround because the General Assembly signaled to us they want it out to communities and schools as quickly as possible to support for summer programming. So our DOE team, some of them are over here, but our DOE team is committed to follow the General Assembly's lead on this and expedite this, but it does, again, fast turnaround of May 12th to get that application in, and more information is on the Department of Education website. So those are my statements for the day. Any other board member comments and reports? Seeing none, public comment? No. All right. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Before, Katie, if I could, before we get to that, I'm going to
Yep.
recuse myself from consent item C as the EVSC is.
Thank you for that. So
Yes.
BJ, item C.
Motion to approve.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
Madam Chair, this is David Freitas. I am going to recuse from voting on consent agenda item E3.
E3, David Freitas. Okay, David, thank you for that. Anyone else before we take Pat's motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. DeLosa? Come back. Mr. Durham?
Yes.
Dr. Ernest? Aye. Dr. Freitas?
Yes, with the exception of E3 recusal.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Gastineau?
Yes.
Mr. Mapes?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Ms. Moat?
Yes.
Ms. Rentschler?
Yes.
Mr. Watts? Yes. Dr. Jenner?
Yes.
Ms. DeLosa?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Consent agenda is approved.
Okay, consent agenda is approved. On to new business. First, we have the HEA 1003 flexibility waivers, North Newton School Corporation, and Brownstown Central Community School Corporation.
So these are both 1003 waivers that the subject matter of have been approved by the board before. So we're recommending the board approve both of these. We could be done in one. Two districts are North Newton School Corporation and Brownstown Central Community School Corporation around instructional time requirements.
Motion for due pass.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next new business item we have is the Evansville Vanderburgh School Corporation ramp locally created pathway.
Katie, I will also be recusing myself on this item as well.
Okay, thank
Yeah. So this is a locally created pathway. We have not seen one of these in a while because the bar is pretty high for these. So what we're looking for, just kind of a refresh back to 2017, 2018, we're looking for collaboration in an LCP. We're looking for competencies, what gives that student that leg up above and beyond their diploma, their currency. And then continuous improvement, and that's kind of more after the fact as the board monitors these, and really would encourage the folks that are implementing locally created pathways to look at ways to improve their LCP based on available data, and as data changes, right? We know our work during pathways showed that the marketplace is not static, and so we would encourage those things as well. So in this case, we do have a petition for the Evansville Vanderburgh School Corporation Supply Chain Management Logistics Pathway in partnership with AmeriQual. So staff took the time, we went down and visited some of the work they're doing down there and talked to some of their folks and looked at the elements of this program, both from a student perspective and programmatic. And so this is before the board for approval. So I just want to go through, in order for any other, any other district to utilize this, they would have to, all of these elements would have to be there, and there's a prior approval by the board listed there. So real quickly, I'll go through the foundational aspects of this. Number one, the program offers a rigorous paid 18 to 36 week work-based learning experience leading to post-secondary employment opportunities and 401k matching. This includes a locally developed rubric in which some CT competencies are embedded based on our Indiana-approved CT coursework. And the students are required to complete an average of 20 hours of paid work-based learning per week during their duration in the program. The program requires students to opt in, make the decision that this best suits, that student's needs based on conversations with their parent. The program includes embedded career ladders for upward mobility. So these are in the materials. You'll see that AmeriQual has those career ladders built in there. And so it's a really seamless transition both into gainful employment, but also with what the expectations are to move up within the organization. The program does include in-person academic instruction. The program offers tuition assistance to students who participate. The program is designed to ensure students develop portable and regionally recognized employability skills via a collective partnership. So what RAMP did is really partner with not just one employer, but build a network of employers, some of the top employers in the Evansville area. So one example that's an anecdote, if a student were to go through this particular pathway into AmeriQual and maybe they're on the line at AmeriQual and this is not for me, RAMP can help them maybe go over to a Berry Plastics or another one of the companies that are in this consortium and do payroll, for example, or some other area of interest to the students. So again, it just goes to that really seamless partnership that was created there, both getting into the workforce and then once the students are in the workforce. And then lastly, the program, as I mentioned, includes embedded standards aligned to advanced CT courses. So students must demonstrate a mastery of the approved supply chain management and logistics competencies that are already built in there to the program, and standards aligned with the PRIDES standards that are identified, locally developed and identified in the materials. We also have Carrie Hilliard and Corey Herring on the phone if the board has any questions more specific about the programmatic pieces to this.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I enthusiastically move that we improve the EVSC ramp locally created pathway.
Second.
Have a enthusiastic motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Could I get one, I'm just excited, and clearly y'all know why, but kind of being the pathways person, but I'm really glad that we've had another school come forward here. We've been in a tough year for those things to kind of happen, I get. So I'm excited about that, and I think that, and the other thing I want to do is applaud the staff for the work that you did. I appreciated visiting with Brian about this and the work that you all have done to really look at what this looks like and even have to, what I would say, adapt to what their world is and what the employer has said. And I think that's really important for us to think about. Because a lot of times we're not real good at that. We think that we know, and we're not listening to employers enough. And the employers kind of said, hey, this is what we need to be doing here. And three things that I love about this is, and I'm saying this because I'm hoping others are listening and want to do this, right, is the seamless part, because I think that's really cool when you think about that you can go to other places and the seamlessness of that. That might have little red dashes under it, if seamlessness. I don't know if that's a word, but I'll make it up. The transferable skills part of this, I think, is important, right? It goes away from just thinking about courses and only courses. It goes to more transferable skills, and then those embedded standards that I think are really cool about this. So there's a lot of, and if you haven't taken the time to really study this, there's a lot of good stuff in here that could be transferred, I think, to other things as well. So, sorry, you can tell I am giddy about this, and so I just think it's great and really appreciate, again, the work the staff's done and the work that Evansville did creating this. So those of you on the phone, nice job, and hopefully we can get others to do this too. I'll shut up now.
No, thank you. Any other
Dr. Jenner?
comments?
I would add to that kudos to AmeriQual and the fact that they've laid out that if a student wants to go into the warehouse, these are the things they're going to do. And if they want to advance themselves, here's the rubric and the standards of what you have to know to continue to progress a career ladder way in those businesses. This is a great model, and he's recusing himself and he won't say anything, but our own board member, BJ Watts, is part of the structure and the foundation of setting this up in Evansville and running the program. And this is a great model for everybody across the state who can get businesses to join in with them about how to inform kids, how to inform parents, and give them that path that gets them a wage at the same time building those skills and earning a high school diploma.
Well stated. I think, Katie Mode, I heard you'd
Yeah.
like to comment?
Just an observation, and I think the comments made by Dr. Ernest as well as Mr. Mapes were spot on, and just want to lift up at the risk of maybe being too analytical. There are 6 elements to this locally created pathway that are really important. So when we think about the ways that schools are paying attention, because this is such a critical need for the workforce, each of those 6 elements is extremely important. The first one has a very intentional element of economic mobility, extremely important. So also a kudos to AmeriQual in terms of their commitment to well-paying jobs and to the economic mobility that comes with 401k matching, as well as the paid, work-based learning experiences. And the rigor within the curriculum is also really important. So just want to, on behalf of the board, and invite any challenge or pressure testing of this thinking, we will be really looking for adherence to those 6 elements because those are the inputs to this extremely high quality outcome for students and situating them for economic mobility and for moving into middle class and having the type of just contribution that we know is critical, and that is part of these outcomes. So I wanted to lift that up as well, and appreciate the opportunity to make those observations and just walk through those elements.
Anyone else with a comment? Have a motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed? RAMP program is officially a locally created pathway. Congratulations. And thank you for being on the phone for our members in Evansville. I should have asked, is there anything that you would like to add? We've now passed it. You've heard the praise, but you are joining us. Is there anything that you would like to add?
Hi, yes, this is Carrie Hilliard, and I serve as the Chief Transformation Officer in EVSE. I know we do want to just express our appreciation to everyone there for your advocacy of locally created pathways. This helps us strategically supplement other state-approved pathways in Indiana. And Dr. Ernest, you said something a couple years ago that stuck with me, and that is we need to get to every kid. And we're not going to get there through one-size-fits-all solutions. So this opportunity has been a way for us to do that. I hope you see we've risen to the challenge of the innovation and partnering with high-wage, high-demand employers to really get creative and come up with solutions for kids and communities.
Thank you, Carrie. Really, really appreciate all of your work in Evansville, and this board has been committed for years to blur the lines between K-12 higher education and workforce. We had a couple board members praise the industry leaders for stepping forward. It is a partnership, so it takes them, it takes the school, but we appreciate the opportunity to celebrate this model this morning, so thank you. We have a motion to adjourn.
Can I, real quick, I just have a question, because she re-prompted my mind to that every kid is important.
Yep.
And we got to get to every kid. What is being, and this may be for staff, Katie, whatever, what all are you thinking right now about how do we help schools? How do we encourage this? How do we help for this? Am I making sense with that question? Like, what are we doing to help ramp this up so that everybody can be doing some things like Evansville and have the support for that? Because I know that's daunting at times. Is that a fair question at this, or am I too early for that?
I think it's a question that could take hours.
Well, this
to talk
meeting's
through.
droning on, so I don't want to make this long meeting any longer. And I
asked it.
apologize that I'm
So,
doing that,
I'll
right?
tell you what, I'm going to give myself 2 minutes to
Okay.
concisely answer. Over the past 5 months, we have, I was going to say traveled the state. We have not traveled the state as much as we would like to because of COVID. We have some travel ahead, but we've done a lot of listening to a variety of stakeholders, educators in classroom, educators leading schools, business leaders, not-for-profits, government officials, and there is absolutely a synergy, desire in Indiana to really continue blurring the lines, to really continue setting up opportunities so that all students have the opportunity for success. And then a lot of the questions now that we're thinking through, how, as a department and as a state board of education, support our schools and our local communities to activate and just to really do what's best for their students and their citizens. I think I'm probably pushing 2 minutes, but more discussion to come, and a critical discussion. So much opportunity in Indiana. So thank you for that.
I personally welcome that because that makes me giddy, right? So let's have those conversations as we be part of that. But again, thanks for all the work that's been done. That was not saying it hadn't been. I just
Yeah.
wanted to see where we were now that we're
Yeah,
getting back to open, so to speak.
absolutely. We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we stand adjourned. Thank you very much to those on the phone.